Hey, what's up you guys? Yes, it is me, I'm back. My name is Emmerich and welcome. If you are new to the channel, come on in, take a seat, get comfortable. This is Movies in a Mug, a little series that we're doing where I just kind of sit down, talk about a bad movie and do my makeup. Last week, we talked about the 2009 sexploitation B-movie, Bitch Slap. That movie was so confusing. It was about a lesbian ninja crime lord stripper. And if those are things that interest you, you should definitely go and check out that video. And I'm not gonna lie, I actually had some kind of fun interactions with a few people who had watched this movie over on Reddit. Because apparently this film does have its own little following within, you know, the terrible cinematic universe. And I think that's always really nice to see. Like one guy said that, you know, you can tell a lot about a person by which one of the main girls you relate to. And I just kind of sat there and went, ooh, mine was Camaro. What's that say about me? Ugh. Anyway, speaking of Reddit, so when I want to get inspiration, you know, when I want to look for a bad movie to watch or to film a video on, I usually do scroll through the bad movie subreddit, you know, as well as a couple of other forums. But this week, for some reason, nothing that anyone was posting really tickled my fancies. So I just decided to broaden my search a little bit, and on every single website that I went to, this one movie kept popping up, and that is Netflix's The Kissing Booth. So I got curious and I wanted to know, you know, is it really as bad as everybody is saying it is? Is it really that terrible? And having watched the movie 3 times to make this video, no, it's definitely not good, but like, not that bad. Like honestly, my main problem with this movie is just that it's so boring. It is so fucking boring. It is so benign. And yeah, okay, it's stupid, but it's a teen movie. Like, I think maybe this movie was just made in a time when Netflix was mostly making good movies. But I think if this was uploaded to Netflix today, everyone would just be like, yeah, okay. Like, it's no worse than that Will Smith movie with the ogres or whatever. Anyway, let's rewind because I'm getting ahead of myself. This is 2018's The Kissing Booth. So the movie starts with our main character, a young lady called Elle, who gives us like a little play-by-play on her life so far. And in doing so, we learn a few things about her. Number 1, she has the exact same birthday as her best friend, which is a guy called Lee. They were born on like the same day at the same time and their mums were best friends. I don't know, maybe they made a pregnancy pact or something, but whatever, same birthday, same day. Elle and Lee both love to dance. And when I say dance, like, they don't like to do classic dance or anything, like they're not doing the tango. They more specifically enjoy doing like step, step, dance, dance, party tech revolution. You know those like machines that you get at an arcade and like the arrows come up on like left and right and you have to stamp on it? Like that's the type of dance that they like to do. And honestly, I am fully supportive of that decision. Like I've been to a couple of arcades here in London and there are some people who do that competitively and I'm just like, well, good and goddamn. That's a talent right there. Good for them. Number 3, we learn that Elle's mother is dead and that she is being raised by her father. And number 4, we learn that Lee and Elle are very close. Like very, very, very close. They spend a lot of time together. And Lee also has an older brother named Noah. And Noah's defining trait in the opening salvo of this movie is basically that he's kind of a dick and quite aggressive. Like, it just lets you know straight off the bat, this guy likes to fight. We also learn that Elle has quite the crush on Noah and has done for several years. In fact, she even goes to like her dead mother's grave and like talks to her about Noah. Okay. And finally, we learn that Elle is essentially Drew Barrymore circa 1999 because she has never been kissed. And that's about it. End of montage. We then cut to a pool where Elle is relaxing at Lee's house before they return to school for their junior year, which, in case you're not American, makes Elle and Lee about 16 and Lee's brother Noah about 17, 18. So Lee and Elle are having a little chat because tomorrow is the first day of school and both of them are expected to give a little presentation to the school council because they're trying to raise funds for the dance club, which I guess they're a part of or own or whatever. You never actually see a dance club in the movie, but like, you know, there's something about a dance club. We then cut to a slow motion action shot of Lee's brother Noah, who's, you know, shirtless and buff.
I know what you're thinking. Noah Flynn is stupid hot.
And straight away, let me tell you, this guy's real old to be in high school. My dude is fully 35. Like, if I was in high school and this guy showed up and wasn't there to collect his child, I would be worried. And he's supposed to be like, you know, the heartthrob, the six-pack, chiseled, dark and broody guy with an anger problem who's, you know, sweet on the inside, but you have to unwrap his layers. But they gave him this like really floppy semi-surfer dude haircut. Just makes him look like a sad mop. But despite the movie already telling us about 8 times that Elle clearly has a crush on this guy, that she is not allowed to be with him or start any type of relationship with him because her best friend Lee expressly forbids it. And he does this by way of several rules that they have that govern their overarching friendship. And these aren't like, you know, the normal type of friend rules, like don't talk shit behind my back. Like, no, these are like really specific kind of rules that govern all of their interactions together. And rule number 9 on this list is that neither one of them are allowed to date each other's sibling. Honestly, child, when I first watched this movie, I was like, you have rules up in this piece? Like rules and regulations? What are you, like a chartered accountant? Calm down. This is one involved friendship. So Noah walks up to Elle and he's just immediately like,
when did you get the boobs?
Like that's just a normal question to ask someone. And Lee replies that she got them over summer whilst Noah was away at football camp and that they came in so fast. It was like she was on human growth hormone. To which Elle just replies, rule number 2 or something, which is apparently that you're not supposed to tell other people your best friend's secrets. And that confused me right off the bat because I was like, wait, what is the secret here? Is the secret here that you got boobs, or is the secret here that you took HGH? Like, what is the movie trying to tell me? Is he just not supposed to tell someone else that you got boobs, which is not a secret because he can see them? What? Does HGH make your titties grow? I'm gonna Google that later. And then Noah decides to tell them that since his parents are gonna be away for the weekend, he has decided to throw a little shindig, a little party at the house to get the school year going right. We then cut to the first day of school, and oh no, Elle's newly found womanly body is just too much for her school uniform to handle. And so she splits her school trousers like straight down the ass. And I was like, I went back to school shopping like a couple of weeks before I went back to school every year. How long ago did you buy these? Maybe she was on HGH, because if her ass grew that much in like a week, homegirl's been taking some meds, you know what I'm saying? So instead, she opts for one of her old school skirts, which is like demonstrably too short for her because it's from like 3 years ago. And then she asks her dad, like, you know, hey, where are my other school trousers? And he's just like, oh, they're at the cleaners. The lack of organizational skills, far too much. Like, what were you planning to do? You didn't go back to school shopping for new clothes to fit your new body. You know, you haven't got anything cleaned. Like, what have you been doing? Why are you so lazy? So Elle gets to school and everyone is just immediately like staring and pointing and laughing and gasping.
Wait, oh my word.
For the last summer, right?
And it's just like, it's a skirt. Calm down. So some guy comes up to her and like really inappropriately slaps her on the ass. And in response to this, Lee gets really mad on Elle's behalf and takes a swing at this guy. And this is like a recurring theme in this movie, particularly with the people in Lee's family. Like, violence just seems to be their go-to for everything. They're just like, yeah, let's just swing at it. let's just swing at it and hope for the best. But Lee is too weak to handle the situation, so even though he tries to punch the other guy, the guy just like catches his hand like it's an anime. Noah swiftly intervenes and literally just starts trying to rearrange this guy's face. Like, damn, my guy is like 8 feet tall. He could have just kind of stood in the way and the other guy would have backed down, but okay, more violence. So both Noah and Elle get sent to the principal's office, and Noah is like, he shouldn't have been treating a lady like that, especially not you. And Elle's immediately just like, oh, who? Me? And he just replies with, yeah, you're like my little sister. Plus your skirt is way too short, ho. But the movie, you know, does still want us to root for him. So straight away, he's like, I know that's sexist, so I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to think it. And it's like, but you already said it. Elle gets called into the principal's office. And here, Elle refers to the guy who spanked her as touching her lady humps. And honestly, when they said this, I sat there and I just went, did she just say lady humps? Like Black Eyed Peas, like Fergie? Like, this movie is from 2018 and she's supposed to be 16. Why is she mentioning my humps? Like, that's a cultural touchstone that children still talk about to this very day. What you gonna do with all them breasts inside their shirt? They make you work. Make you work. Anyway, we cut to lunch and 3 popular girls start talking to Elle. And you know that they're the popular girls because the writers of this movie had clearly seen Mean Girls and were like, all popular girls travel in packs of 3 and they all call each other bitches. It's really great writing. Honestly, I considered not mentioning them because they have no agency or like storyline whatsoever, but they do pop up at like several times during the movie. So I'm just kind of mentioning them now, just so you know that there are 3 popular girls called the OMG girls, and that's basically all you need to know. Cut to another scene, and Elle and Lee are still trying to figure out ways to raise money for their dance club. And Lee's kind of saying that he thinks one of the OMG girls is like really, really hot. And Elle just replies by saying that the only way that any of those girls would ever get with him is if he paid for it, which obviously leads them both to the idea of a kissing booth. It's the name of the movie. Yay. Oh, and by the way, I felt personally attacked by this movie because in this scene, Lee's like trying on shirts to try and figure something out that might impress the OMG girl that he likes. And he's wearing this kind of cute, like printed shirt, you know, very Versace. The Showgirls reference. Anyway, and Elle tells him that the shirt is terrible, but I have that exact shirt in scarf form. Look. It is the exact one, just in a fashionable scarf. Like, how dare you, Elle? You don't know fashion. I know fashion, and this is fashion. Fuck you. So Elle gets put into detention for breaking the dress code with her teeny tiny skirt. And whilst in detention, the guy that slapped her ass at the beginning of the movie passes her a note to apologize. And he also asks her what he has to do in order to get her number. And Elle kind of replies to him that if he wears a skirt that's as short as hers, then she'll forgive him and he can have her number. And to his credit, this guy just gets up, leaves detention, and then comes back in like a mini skirt whilst Oh Mickey, You're So Fine starts playing. I chuckled, like it got a little laugh out of me. And I know this guy's supposed to be 16 in the context of the movie, but let's face it, in real life, he's like 38 or whatever. And this guy's got some nice legs. Meanwhile, Noah's just over there the entire time looking pissed, like an angry baboon. And as a result of his antics, Elle does decide to go on a date with him and Lee drives her there. But the way that it's shot, it looks like he drives her to a bar. Girl, you're 16. You have to be 21 to get served at a bar in the States. Why are you going on a date at a bar? What? But sadly, she gets stood up and then Lee takes her to go play Dance, Dance, Step, Step, Party Tech Revolution, you know, to like cheer her up or whatever. And whilst they're doing that, the dude that she was supposed to be on a date with knew he would find them there and comes in and is like, oh, hey, Noah told me that it wouldn't be a good idea if I showed up for our date tonight. Like, he's been going around telling everybody specifically not to ask you out. And I'm like, it's the first day of school. And they specifically told us that he had been gone for a while. So like, what, over the holiday whilst he was at camp, was he just like texting random guys that are like in his school year? Don't ask Elle out. Don't ask her out. Possessive much? Oh, and then this happens.
No boobs are worth a broken nose.
Leave. But just so you know, my boobs are fantastic. Yes, some would even say breathtaking.
But I swear, even when I was 17, I never heard guys talking about women as just boobs. Like, I'm not sure anyone ever really did that. I mean, granted, I'm a flamer, so maybe they did and I just don't know about it. So, straight people, tell me in the comments, is this movie relatable? Is this an accurate depiction of how y'all act? So Elle calls Noah and berates him for, you know, trying to control her and for telling guys not to date her. To which he essentially just replies, yeah, no, I'm still gonna do it, so tough shit. He's just like, no, bye, hen. Click. And I have to say, so far the movie is not doing a very good job at building up any redeeming characteristics in this guy, other than the fact that he's hot. Cut forward a bit and Lee and Elle pitch their kissing booth idea to the school council, and Elle lies to them and tells them that Noah will definitely be involved, and because Noah is hot, the idea gets approved. Okay. We then flash forward to the party at Lee and Noah's house. And at this party, Elle gets wasted and just takes all her clothes off on a pool table. Whilst watching this, all I could think is, how rich are these people? I can understand teens getting a bottle of wine or like stealing a small bottle of liquor from their parents. But at this high school party, there are like bottles and bottles of hard liquor. There are pool tables, air hockey tables, there's a nice pool, views overlooking the Hollywood Hills. Lee drives a classic car. When I was that age, I could barely get 50 quid together, let alone however much this cost. My broke ass could never. So Elle drinks too much and she passes out, only to wake up the next morning in Noah's bed wearing his t-shirt. And then he walks in wearing nothing but a towel. And then we have like a series of strange, unrealistic physical comedy events happening. Elle tears down a curtain and then falls on him and then rolls them over like a sausage roll, so they're all rolled up in this curtain.
I'm not pulling anything.
And then she touches his dick, and I was just like, what? You know what it reminded me of? Have you all seen that clip of that really overacted Indian drama where the woman like walks up to that curtain and like tries to strangle herself with it? It reminded me of that. So that mess ends, and then we're back at school, and Elle convinces the OMG girls to do the kissing booth. Essentially by leveraging the fact that they all have a crush on Noah. Elle and Lee have a paint fight. And then we come to another series of unrealistic events, where in order to remove the paint that Lee just got all over her, Elle goes into the bathroom and takes her shirt off, only to realize that she's in the boys' locker room. At this point, I'm like, girl's been naked in public a lot at this point. Maybe that's just her thing. Maybe this is a coming-of-age story about finding your kinks. It's not. Just FYI, it's not. That was a joke. But Noah is in there and he sees Elle literally in just her bra in the boys' locker room, and he's like, what are you doing? Like, get out of here. But Elle decides that she needs to teach him a lesson for trying to control her with this very reasonable request. So instead of leaving, she decides to like do a sexy dance for the boys whilst topless and covered in paint, which... Is she okay? I think someone should have a word with her. Don't use your body to get back at someone. Moving on. I think it was at this point in the movie that I really started to question, like, is this a fan fiction movie? Fan fiction movies always have that weird formula where everything just seems like a series of mildly connected events that would read better in like an episodic format. We have to keep the audience coming back with like a ridiculous stunt in every scene. So I Googled it, and I guess I was half right. Like, the movie is an adaptation of a work that was on a fanfiction site, but it is like an original story. So apparently it comes from a site called Wattpad, which I can't say I'm all too familiar with, but from my research, it's kind of a place where you can either upload original fiction or you can upload your fan fiction. Like, it doesn't really matter. You can just upload it there and people will read it. And I think that, you know, is a good explanation of why parts of this movie feel, I guess, kind of childlike, or kind of like it should be more of an episodic thing and less like a coherent movie. So, it's finally time for the kissing booth. And just like the name entails, people kiss. There's just like a really long montage of different people kissing. Oh, and there's a gay moment. Well, so I'm not gonna ring the homophobia alarm on this one, but there is a moment in the movie that made me do this. Because the way that the kissing booth is set up is that everyone who is working the booth is blindfolded, and there's a guy on one side and a girl on the other. And in the line for the boys' side was a guy. And then some other guy just kind of winks at him, and that's supposed to tell us that they're gay. Gay in the way that Beauty and the Beast had a gay character, you know, because that guy danced with another guy. It's totally gay. So Lee does the booth, and some girl that we have never seen before comes up and kisses him, and then they're just in a relationship, and it's like, oh, okay, cool, I guess. I think honestly the movie just really needed to let us know that Lee is not a romantic rival for Noah in any shape, way, or form. But then the OMG girls convince Elle to do the booth, despite the fact that she's never been kissed, and she goes along with it. She puts on the blindfold, she goes out to the stage, and who kisses her? It's Noah. And whilst they were kissing, everybody there was watching them. People went and dropped their kids off at school and came back just to watch these people kiss. But also, the camera did this like really annoying spinny thing when they kissed, where it like spun around a whole bunch. Honestly, it kind of made me a little bit seasick. So Elle goes over to Lee and is like, hey, I know that it's like a rule that I'm not supposed to like be romantically involved with your brother in any shape, way, or form, because you've expressed to me, like, as my friend on multiple occasions, that would make you really, really uncomfortable. But I just kissed your brother. And Lee's just like, you did what? And she's like, yeah, he just, like, you know, it's for charity. And I was out there like, for charity? Is it? I thought this was for your dance class or whatever. Is that a charity? And he just says to her, oh, like, yeah, okay, I guess it's no big deal, but like, please don't do it again, because that, you know, would make me really uncomfortable. And Elle agrees with him, and he's just like, no, of course, I won't be doing that again. And then for some reason, Elle decides that she's gonna like run home in the rain, you know, for like drama. And of course, who is she picked up by but Noah, who shows up on his motorcycle and picks her up to take her home. But it's raining so bad that it's so dangerous that he just has to pull over into this greenhouse. And obviously they just immediately start making out with each other. And can I point out, their size difference is honestly comical. Like, Noah looks like he's about 6'5", maybe taller, and Elle is maybe like 5'1", and I'm just like, dude, does your back not hurt? That looks like some heavy lifting right there. I would not be into that. But anyway, they're interrupted by like a gardener or whatever, and then Noah drives Elle home, and the scene ends. We then move to Elle, who's in her room, basically like agonizing over the fact that, you know, she's obviously had this crush on Noah for a really long time, and now it looks like things could happen between them, but that's really gonna upset Lee. So we kind of cut to her like making a list of pros and cons. In universe, Elle knows that this is a bad idea because her list reads like pros, he's hot and he smells nice. Cons, literally nobody wants this. He has a really bad temper. He's not a great person. If anyone's ever had anyone like this in their lives, you know full well that she has already decided what she is going to do. And what she is going to do is him. She's just kind of umming and ahhing over it because she, I don't know, wants to make herself seem like a better person, or like she isn't doing something that she knows is really going to upset someone who's very important to her, after directly telling them that she's not gonna do it. Cut to a beach party that they're having, and some guy gets a little bit inappropriate with Elle, and as a response, Noah rearranges his face, gets into another fight, and completely ruins the party. Elle quite rightfully storms off because she's sick of this guy and his temper, and then he gets like aggressive with her. He's like, "Get in the car, Elle!
Get in the car, Elle!"
And at that point, I was just like, girl, don't get in that car. Girl, don't get in that car. Just do it. Like, she kind of seems afraid of him. And as someone who, you know, grown up around, been involved with, and generally been around a fair few people with anger issues, I can tell you that is not a fun situation to be in. It is not nice. So why the movie is trying to kind of like paint this as him just being protective is kind of beyond me, because it really does seem like he has quite a severe anger problem. Guys, if the audio is a little bit weird in this next part, I apologize. My mic had a little bit of a hiccup and disconnected, but it fixes itself in a minute or two, so it is what it is. But Elle gets in the car, and then after yelling at her, Noah takes her to like the Hollywood sign for some reason. And then they just have sex. They haven't been on a date, but like it's outside. And like on the floor, on the ground. And I'm like, dude, this guy is rich. Like, have you seen his house? He couldn't have even gotten you a Best Western. They wake up in the morning and she's like, all of this was because of the kissing booth. I'm just like, no, it wasn't. All of this is because of you, yo ass. You did this. Blame it on a goddamn kissing booth. And so that's it. They are in a relationship now, but it has to be in secret. So there's just a montage of them, you know, fucking in different places. They even fuck at school, and they like get caught on CCTV, and then Elle has to go and steal the CCTV cameras or whatever. And I was just like, damn, these high schoolers be wilding out. But then I realized that I also had sex at my high school, so can't really judge. And everything kind of seems to be going well until one day Elle goes over to Noah's house, you know, to smash, and she's helping him like fix up his motorbike. And when she's passing him like a wrench or some kind of tool, she falls and she cuts her face. And Noah tries to, you know, help and fix her up, but then Lee comes in and his immediate reaction is, did he hit you? Like his first reaction is, Noah hit you, right? And I'm not gonna lie, that was kind of troubling. The person who knows this man very closely because he's his brother, his gut reaction is that he hit you, and we all know he has an anger problem. Am I picking up the right thing that they're trying to put down? Because yikes. And Lee even directly asks Elle, like, hey, is there something going on here? Like, is there something happening here? And she just flat out denies it. She says, no, nothing is going on. Like, I promise you, nothing's happening. He's like, okay, cool. I'll go wait in the car. Come down, you know, when you've got your stuff. So Elle says fine, goes into the next room, and then just starts making out with Noah. Bitch, the one person you want to hide this relationship from is literally like 5 feet away from you. And of course, because it's a stupid idea, who walks in? Lee, because this is his house and you're stupid. So Lee is obviously and understandably very upset that his best friend has been lying to him and has been, you know, fooling around with his brother behind his back despite promising him that she would never do that. But the movie takes a weird route with this because They explain that the reason that Lee is so mad is because he's jealous of the fact that Noah always gets everything. But he also says to her, you don't know what you're getting yourself into with him. Which, pretty directly to me, given the fact that he also straight away assumed that he hit her, leads me to believe that he's like concerned for her safety. But no, the movie doesn't explore that at all. It's just Lee kind of treating Elle like a pair of shoes. It's just like, no, you're mine, not his. So Lee storms off. And then Noah storms off, but he doesn't just like leave the house. He apparently like leaves town. And then the movie goes out of its way to let us know that he leaves town, and as a result of this, his attendance at school is so bad that he almost gets kicked out. Keep that in mind, because that's going to come back in a minute. So after a couple of scenes of Elle trying to convince Lee to forgive her, eventually he acquiesces, and the pair do step, step, dance, dance, party, tech, revolution, and they decide to have a joint birthday party directly after their prom. Someone let me know how this happens. So they're going through the prom, and suddenly there is a full-size recreation of the kissing booth. Somehow, the entirety of the school had like colluded without the knowledge of either Lee or Elle to fully recreate the booth without like, I don't know, getting any of the material from them, like, or even informing them. But of course, Noah shows up fresh and back in town from wherever he went, and in a grand romantic gesture, he tells Elle that he loves her, and Elle, well, she just kind of runs away. She's just like, nope. She just nopes out of there. And then we find out that Noah got into Harvard. And that, I'm sorry, there are a lot of unrealistic things that happened in this movie, but that one really takes the cake. Harvard is one of the best, if not, depending on what you're studying, the best school in the world. And they're just like, yeah, he just got into Harvard. But like, how? They said in the movie that his attendance was so bad that he almost couldn't graduate. Something tells me that the Harvard acceptance committee is not going to be too keen on that type of thing on your transcript. But whatever, Elle leaves, and then we cut to the birthday party of Lee and Elle, and Elle is basically just moping around, having a sad time. Because, you know, she's in Noah's house, and they fucked there a lot, so it's totes emosh for her. So much so that she ends up telling Lee, like, look, I really miss him. Like, I'm in love with your brother, and these rules that we kind of, you know, guide our friendship by were made up when we were like 6. So it's probably time that we like evolve them a little bit, and I want to be your friend. I'm always going to want to be close to you, but like you can't dictate who I love and who's in my life. And he's just like, okay, like I think you're making a mistake. I'm going to let you know that now. I think you're making a mistake, but like that's cool. Honestly, Lee gave no indication that if you had just been honest with him from the start, that he wouldn't have been okay with it. Like, he let you know that he didn't like it. It would have taken him some time to get used to it, but he already forgave you. Like, if you would have just been honest with him then and told him, look, I'm still in love with your brother, he probably would have just been like, well, you already fucked him, so carry on with your bad self. Your puss, your choice. I don't know. Maybe I'm giving Lee too much credit, but like, that's how it reads to the audience. So Lee says okay, and that he's going to help Elle find Noah to, you know, make things right or whatever. He goes upstairs and tells Elle to meet him at the car, and they'll go and find Noah. Elle does that, and then like a couple of seconds later, she's in the car, and Lee gets in wearing his like costume because they had a costume party for their birthday. But then like, oh no, it isn't Lee. It's Noah. They did a switcheroo. I don't know why. They were just like, haha, we just did a switcheroo. And then I was like, oh yeah, these people are like fully 16. That is totally something a 16-year-old would do. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. And then the movie kind of just ends. Noah goes to Harvard, And Elle stays where she is, I guess, to finish off school. The movie kind of implies that they're gonna potentially try long distance. It's never really explicitly said, but one thing that I thought was very funny was at the end of the movie, we get like a voiceover from Elle, kind of paralleling the one that we got at the beginning of the movie. And she says, yeah, I'm laughing even thinking about it. She says, and for the first time, everything just felt possible.
And for the first time, everything suddenly seemed possible.
And honestly, that shit cracked me up. I burst out laughing so hard. I'm like, bitch, you are a privileged white person who lives in a fucking mansion in one of the most expensive cities in the world. And you're telling me that just now everything is feeling possible. Girl, where were your hardships? Where are the hardships? Please read the room. Bitch, go get a job. Do something else. I'm like, give me something else. Do my eyebrows, something else, because this is not the one. All right, so I am going to do some little final finishing touches and change into my outfit for the night, and I'll be back with some final thoughts. Okay, I am back. Tippy tippy tip. So, what do I think of the movie? Well, as I said at the beginning of this video, I think this movie is a little bit boring. Like, I had to watch it 3 times to make the script for this video, and on the 3rd time, I was just like... I think if you take this movie in the way that I think it's supposed to be consumed, i.e. a love story between these 2 people, it really falls down and just isn't a strong movie. But I think on my second watch through, I started to look at it with like a bit of a different approach, because a lot of the things in this movie, especially the dialogue, oh my god, the dialogue is so bad. Oh my god, the dialogue is fucking shocking. So much so that it started to read to me like a 50-year-old man writing what he remembers of his high school days and kind of amping everything up to such a degree where like it's almost a parody. Like everybody in this movie acts in the way that like someone much older writing someone much younger would act, if that makes any sense. Let me put in like a couple of clips that demonstrate this point.
You make out with him yet?
Maybe our numerals, we should def catch up. Hey girl, what's Gucci?
You can call us bitches.
Thank you. Bitches?
Now, don't get me wrong, I understand that things have to be, you know, a little bit heightened for a movie. I just don't think that this movie did a particularly good job of it. That's all I'm trying to say. But I do think that this movie could be an interesting lesson, specifically for young girls, in what not to do. Because Elle is very bad at vocalizing what she wants. Like, she spends the first half of the movie tiptoeing around Noah, and then she spends the second half of the movie tiptoeing around Lee, and it's only in the final, like, 6-7 minutes of the movie that she actually says and vocalizes what she wants. And then everyone's like, okay, sure, fine, if that's what you want, we'll give it to you. And it's like, you could have just asked like an hour ago and saved everyone the hassle. But after watching this movie on Netflix, it said that there were 2 others. So despite the fact that this is like one of Netflix's, I guess, most trashed movies, they doubled down and made 2 more. So maybe if people like this video enough, I'll watch the other 2, but I'm not gonna be excited about it. Okay guys, that is it from me. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you like this look. If you do, please make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to let me know in the comments if there are any other bad movies that I should be watching. I've actually had a couple of people send me some suggestions, you know, they slid into those DMs and were like, hey bitch, look at this movie, which I really, really appreciate. So keep doing it and I will definitely take all of your suggestions into consideration. Make sure to stay safe and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye. Literally by the third time of watching this, I was just sat there like I had 1,000-yard stare. I was just waiting for death.